Why would you buy a watch with an in-house movement from a small niche player? Aren't you exposing yourself to risks pertaining to serviceability and reliability? Wouldn't it just be better to get a model with a trusted, reliable Sellita movement inside? On the outside, it's the same watch, so what's the point? That's what I'm going to talk about today with the Yema Wristmaster with the CMM 2.0 in-house movement inside. Let's dive in. Yema is an independent French watchmaker located in Morteau, which is a French town just on the other side of the border from Le Locle. Yema is managed by a third-generation family of watchmakers. Back in the day, Yema even had a close connection with the now really famous Richard Mille. At one point, they were even owned by Seiko. They are proudly French. Their bread and butter designs are dive watches, sports watches, and tool watches with a distinct French flair. The divers are more in the skin diver type vein than in the modern desk diver type of watch. The chronos don't go down the route of Daytona, Speedmasters, and Chronomasters, the mainstream route, but opt instead for classic racing chronos. The Wristmaster is a slim integrated bracelet watch with more in common with an Overseas than a Royal Oak, and similarly it's got more in common with a Main Manhattan than a Raymond Weil. There's just a touch of dressiness to all their watches despite being a tool watch brand. The Wristmaster Slim is a 39mm integrated bracelet watch. It's 9mm thick, it's truly slim. It's available with blue, white, and a yellow stripe dial. It's got Dauphine hands. It's got applied stick plots at every position except for 12, where you have applied 12 numerals. It's got no date, butterfly deployment clasp with a micro adjust mechanism. Inside is the in-house CMM 2.0 caliber. It's got 70 hours of power reserve, -7 to +3 seconds of accuracy. It has a micro rotor architecture and it is ultra thin, which is the key reason why the watch itself can achieve a thickness of 9mm overall. I know that a huge portion of the people watching my videos are return viewers but are still not subscribed. Subscribing to my channel is hugely important. It tells me that I'm doing something that's worth watching. So if you are new here or a returning viewer that's not yet subscribed, click the subscribe button. It means a ton. Thanks a ton. Why wouldn't you buy a watch like this with an in-house movement? Simply put, a legitimate and fair concern about reliability, serviceability, and long-term viability. In-house movements are not inherently bad quality. All Rolex and all Omega movements are in-house, and they are among the most reliable movements in the world. But when a relatively small brand like this goes down the path of in-house, the risk profile does change. You're putting your trust in a company that is building a competency around in-house movements. The very first Tesla was not a super reliable vehicle. The very first phones with Android software were buggy as hell. That's the nature of new products. You are doing something new, and that comes with risks. It comes with teething problems. It comes with potential flaws, and no matter how much you invest in quality control and reviews and even more quality control, some things are only going to show up once the product is out there in the real world in the hands of the customer. You just can't escape that reality. And then, when you do need your watch serviced, your local watchmaker is not necessarily going to have all the right parts on hand to service it, simply because they might not all be standardized parts. In-house movements don't mean that everything is completely custom. In a movement like the CMM 2.0, the barrel and the mainstring come from a reputable third-party provider that is broadly available. The shock absorber is also a component that you'll find in a Sellita movement, and to my knowledge, the escapement wheel is also one that is supplied by a reputable manufacturer. But the core architecture is custom. The bridges are custom. The pinions are to some extent custom to the movement. So it's not going to be as easy peasy as servicing some ETA or Omega movement. It's not a huge issue, and a good watchmaker will know how to get a hold of what they need to service it, but it will be a different complexity compared to a Sellita or Soprod or an ETA movement. So why does the brand do this anyway when they're introducing this risk to the customer? The first reason is you build your own product for purely practical product reasons. If you want your watch to achieve some specific kind of performance, there might not be a commercially available off-the-shelf solution there for you. For Yema, one of the things they wanted was an ultra-slim automatic movement. At this price point, there aren't that many of those options out there. Sellita can supply you an ultra-slim movement, but it's manual wind. Sellita, to my knowledge, don't offer a micro rotor solution. And the point of a micro-rotor automatic is, among other things, that the rotor is level with the rest of the movement, where a regular rotor sits on top, and that makes the overall movement thicker. You can find micro-rotor movements with 70 hours of power reserve, like the one Horage makes, but it's much, much more expensive for a variety of reasons. So for the price point Yema are operating in, the logical solution was to make their own movement. The second reason you do this is because of creative vision. A lot of people view watches purely on the externals. Whatever is inside is largely irrelevant to them. They want a nice watch that looks good on the wrist, and whatever is on the inside is irrelevant as long as it works. But when Christopher Ward made their 660 Slim, they customized the movement so that its bridges, the finishing, and the look integrated with the finishing of the case and the bracelet. It was an artistically complete solution. It's just like the engine in a Lamborghini. It's not just about being a finely tuned, high-performing power delivery system. You look through the transparent caseback of that Lambo and you see a visually beautiful engine, an engine that fits with the car. Anybody who has ever seen a display caseback on a watch with your stock Solita SW200 movement knows that it's not going to blow you away in the way an edge-to-edge IWC movement or Omega movement is going to. Watchmaking is not just about slapping in a stock movement into a pretty case. Watches are no longer just functional tools. They are jewelry. They are jewelry at $1 million for Gronefelds, and they are jewelry at $300 for Boltony watches. And when you decide to make your own movement, you're taking steps to make an end-to-end more cohesive product. But neither access nor aesthetics may convince you or someone to buy an in-house movement like this one. Which brings me to the last and most important reason. Innovation is essential, especially at this price point. Last year, Audemars Piguet made a completely new, totally overcomplicated way to control a chronograph function. They spent a ton of money in figuring out a solution that solved the problem of squishy pushes and the true instant flyback without recoil. Breguet launched a 10 Hz movement with a completely revolutionary escapement technology. The reason the IWC Pilot Mark 20 movement doesn't have a silicone hairspring is because Patek and Rolex and a couple of others had a patent which for years has hindered the brand implementing silicone hairsprings in their movements. Those high-end movement innovations might make it to your watch in 10 or 20 years, but it sure as heck isn't coming tomorrow. Slim, micro-rotor movements have for the longest time been a high-end feature, but that's changing. Horage with their K2, the Yema CMM 2.0, and a Hangzhou movement from China in the Baltic models. They are slowly starting to pop up. Watches under $3,000 that have more than 60 hours of power reserve are starting to pop up. Cost-accurate movements under $3,000 are almost commonplace now. The Christopher Ward Bel Canto movement. Those things would not exist if there wasn't someone willing to invest and take a risk in making their own movement or custom module on top. That's what a movement like this represents. We don't necessarily need more accuracy or more power reserve, but it's in the nature of our species to progress, to improve, and to perfect. And I would hate a world where we just kind of accepted that 41 hours of power reserve with cost level accuracy was all we aspired to. We need people out there trying to get more power reserve, even though we practically might not need it. We need to get to near quartz level accuracy, even though it's not that important in the day-to-day. We need someone designing movements that complement the watch and are not just a practical afterthought. It's what moves the industry. It's what moves the hobby. It's what keeps it exciting, fresh, and compelling. People, watchmakers, trying to hone and perfect their craft aesthetically, practically, and technically. So whether you like the Wristmaster or not, that's for you to decide. My opinion is irrelevant. You like what you like, but if there's one thing you take away from this video, support the brands that try something, that push the envelope, that don't just do the bare minimum. Those are the brands that keep watches interesting to me. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Cheers.